Hey, what's up guys, Jack here, hope you're all doing well, and today I wanted to talk about Battlefield Hardline, and more specifically the Hardline CTE, because there are some interesting things being tested with the game right now that could not only improve the game, but also potentially bring some players back to it as well. First off, some great news about tick rates. Battlefield 4 CTE has given us a lot of great improvements to the game, and one of those improvements of course was the 60Hz and 120Hz tick rate servers that make a absolutely massive difference to the feel of the game and how it plays. Well, Hardline fans are going to get that experience as well, as 60Hz servers are going to be tested on the Hardline CTE next week, and I think that's certainly going to make a few people head over there just to go and test that out, get a feel for it and see how it plays. Not only that, but there are a number of new game modes that are being tested in CTE going forward. Thad Sasser made a forum post on the Hardline CTE forum sharing some ideas of game modes that they want to test in the upcoming weeks and months to try and maybe reinvigorate the game, add something a bit spicy and freshen it up a bit. Some of them are completely new and others are just variants of current game modes to try and improve upon them. Either way, it's pretty great to see some new ideas coming from the Visceral team, and it can only be a good thing for everyone to try them out and give their feedback on. All of these new modes are simply test ideas at the moment, and they're going to be trialed, and of course our feedback will be noted. They're not even guaranteed to make it into the vanilla game. It's more of like okay, let's put these game modes out there, let's see which ones work and which ones don't work so well. The first new game mode suggested is King of the Hill, and what's interesting is that Thad says they've had this idea in mind for over a year and have actually already prototyped it in-house, but they're actually yet to playtest it. Think Conquest, but with one single cap zone in the middle of a map. The team that controlled the 1 point would bleed tickets on the enemy team. I personally think if it's just one capture point, it's not going to be that interesting, but if they could make it so the King of the Hill point actually moved around the map, so after a certain amount of time the zone changed to somewhere else on the map, which would spice things up a bit and it would give both teams a fresh start after claiming a point. It would be sort of like a bigger version of Hardpoint from Call of Duty plus the Battlefield flavour of vehicles, because I think having just 1 point in the middle of the map in the same spot, that's going to end up being very messy and very repetitive, especially with larger player counts. So I think maybe having that point move around to different capture points could balance it out better and just keep that game mode a bit more interesting. Next we have Fracas, which is probably the weakest of the suggested new game modes. It gives players only melee weapons, shields, flashbangs, smokes, molotovs, medkits and revive gadgets only, so no guns or other explosives and no cars either. This is something that really doesn't make sense to me or interest me at all. It reminds me a bit of the troll preset that's in BF4's gun game, and that's not a good thing because that's a troll preset after all, and so playing blood money or heist and only being able to use melee weapons isn't really my idea of fun. But maybe some people will disagree with me there. It just seems like it's throwing all of the gameplay mechanics out of the window, and it's going to be a mode that doesn't really work well at all and just comes across rather annoying. Moving on now to Pure Hotwire. This is one that I'd really like to try. It takes Hotwire, but it removes all the explosives completely, and that includes RPGs, C4, trip mines, grenade launchers as well. It also takes out the sabotage, molotovs and the LMGs. It also removes the choppers, and the only Hotwire vehicles would be the sedans and the coupes or coupes depending where you're from. So the vans, tankers and bikes would no longer be available. Hotwire is one of the better game modes in Hardline in my opinion. I had a lot of fun with it when the game came out and also in the beta. It's a unique game mode that sets it apart from the other Battlefield games, but as time went on and players started unlocking more gadgets, it became very explosive heavy. Everyone's got an RPG in the trunk, everyone's got sabotage bomb under your car, plus grenade launchers. There was just so many ways for you to die, and the cars just became a death sentence. Now what this game mode would do is trial the back to basics Hotwire gameplay by making it just a simple game mode again. So the cars and car chases would become the main focus of the game mode, which is the best thing about it, and that's how it's meant to be in the first place, right? So it could result in some pretty epic around the map car chases with squads hanging out of the windows of cars, having to use their weapons only, you know, automatic fire to take down other enemy cars. I think this game mode could be very fun without all the explosives, so very interested to try this one out. Next up is Mega Health. This one is definitely more of an experimental test than a game mode itself because it mainly tweaks server-side settings. But this one gives players 135% health, so that's an extra 35% on top. It's designed so that players take a few more bullets from gunfire and can easily survive Molotovs and grenades. It seems like this has stemmed from a large part of the player base not enjoying the low time to kill in the game due to some of the faster firing weapons. So while adding more health may not be the most ideal solution, if you think about it, the only other solution is to rebalance all the other weapons and damage models, which of course is a lot of work, and this could be an extra server setting that could appease those who are finding the time to kill just that bit too annoying. They get shot in the back and they feel like they don't have any time to react. Lastly, we've got Gunfight, which is basically pistol only mode. No gadgets or grenades with hardcore HUD settings, so therefore we've got no 3D spotting, so it's just you and your pistol. Pistol only modes I actually really enjoy in various different first person shooters. It can be quite fun, but it's mainly just an odd mode that people play now and again. It's not really going to be like a mainstay, it's not going to get people that excited, especially as it stands at the moment. Server providers could just make their own pistol only server if they really wanted to, just like lots of people do in Battlefield 4. Overall, there are some good potential game modes and ideas here, but there are just the ones that I've highlighted that they want to test. You can expect plenty more, I'm sure, as time goes on. I'm sure they're going to throw some really kooky ones into the mix. Couple that with the 60Hz server test, and there could be more reasons for people to actually go and play Hardline on PC again. It's also worth noting that Thad said these modes are easy for them to add into the game, and that's important right now because there were other game modes they wanted to add, but it would be too much work with them still making DLC maps and premium super features. There just isn't enough time to implement them all. That being said, I do think if they want to properly test these game modes and the other changes in the CTE, they've really got to open it up to non-premium members. PC numbers are very low on Hardline, as we know, but requiring premium really limits the player count even further, and so if they want to properly test these new game modes and features, you've got to let more people try out the changes, frankly. Open it up to non-premium members, maybe even open it up to Battlefield 4 players as well. Because if they want to properly test these new game modes and features, you need the numbers. You've got to cram it full of players, you've got to get the stats, you've got to get a lot of feedback. This of course diminishes the value of premium as a package, but I think it's better for that to happen than have absolutely zero players on the Battlefield Hardline CTE when they really need the feedback gathered for it to evaluate new modes, game modes changes and upcoming DLC. And there we have it, guys. That's all I wanted to say. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think these upcoming additions to the CTE will entice you to come back and play the game on PC again, or does there need to be more rewards, more incentive to come and play? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I will be reading through the comments and taking your ideas on board. Cheers for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.